Hey everyone, it's Jennifer. The new online card class is Stenciled class is coming up. It's about all the things you can do with stencils, and I was inspired by that to create this video where I show you how you can use a stencil with embossing paste and embossing powder to create really cool raised kind of glitter or textured images. Now I created 4 cards here, and you have to forgive me, the video jumps around a little bit because I created a bunch of things and then I picked which I liked best to share with you. But I hope you find some ideas here that might work for you. So I created some that have a sparkle effect to it, and then some like this that have a verdigris look to it that is just gorgeous in real life. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the sparkle first. You can see it here, it just has this nice raised white sparkle to it that's really gorgeous in real life. Now, I have a stencil here from the Crafters Workshop. You can use any kind of stencil for this. There are so many great ones on the market right now, and they're very inexpensive. I'm going to take it and put it on some heavy white cardstock. So this is heavyweight Neenah. It's a 110-pound cardstock. You can use any kind of cardstock. I just use the heavyweight because I originally thought I was going to make this a 1-layer card, but I ended up changing my mind. So I'm using some Post-it tape. You can use any kind of tape to temporarily adhere this to your surface and to adhere your stencil in place. I'm working on a Ranger craft sheet because it's so easy to clean the paste off of it. I have some embossing paste here. I'm using the white today. You can use the Wendy Vecchi or the Dreamweaver's paste. They're the same thing. You can use white or the clear translucent, but I thought the white would work well here because I'm going to put some clear embossing powder on top of it. Now what I'm going to do is use this tool, which I think is so helpful in applying this on here. And I'm going to kind of smooth it out towards the top there where the stencil stops, because this stencil has an uneven edge. And then after I've smoothed it out and worked my way up there towards the top, I'm going to go ahead and just even this out and scrape all the excess paste off. The nice thing about this is you can scrape off the extra paste and put it back in the container and save it for later. This is so easy to do. Now I'm going to go ahead and peel off the stencil here. Just be sure to not let it shift, and it's no problem at all. One thing you definitely want to keep in mind is you want to clean off the stencil right away, or the paste will dry on your stencil and you have a mess. And I'll tell you later a tip for cleaning this up at the end of this video. Now on the edge of my card, some of the paste is kind of sticking off, so I'm just running my finger across it to smooth it off, and I'm going to take that and set it aside. Now I'm going to use my tool to scrape off any excess embossing paste from my craft sheet here. And now it's time to add some embossing powder. So before this paste dries, I'm going to add some Judikins Sparkle Embossing Powder. It's a clear sparkle powder. Any kind of embossing powder would work here. I just thought this sparkle was really nice to add kind of the raised tone-on-tone look with sparkle. So I'll just tap off the rest, and I'm going to set this aside for that embossing paste to dry. I think you get better results if you let the paste dry some before you set the powder. So that's what I used for this card here. Now I wanted to show you another background that I did that was somewhat similar. It's the same technique but a different pattern. This is another stencil from the Crafters Workshop. I'm just going to go ahead and apply some embossing paste over it and even it out. This is really quick and easy to do. Once I'm done, I'm going to take off that stencil. I'm going to clean the stencil right away and add some of the embossing powder to the top before that paste dries. Now if you get the paste on your hands, or you want to clean off the tool or clean off your table, I just use a baby wipe. It really cleans up quite easily. I like that this paste dries kind of flexible so it doesn't break off. I love that. Now that I've added the powder to both of these, I'm going to let the paste dry for a couple hours. I find you get better results if you let the paste dry and then heat the embossing powder to get a smooth surface. If you heat the paste before it's dry, it kind of bubbles up, which is really cool, but with these detailed stencils, I wanted to make sure that we kept it nice and crisp, so I let the paste dry first. Now after I did this, I decided I wanted to trim the pieces down and put it onto another note card. I have some greetings here. These are from one of the most recent Studio Calico card kits, a stamp set that was included in the card kit, and I loved this set. So I'm stamping this with Versamark and adding white embossing powder to put it on the top of the card. I thought that was a nice complement to the white on the bottom of the card. I'm going to skip the assembly of this card because it's pretty simple. I just added a thin strip of cardstock and then some little enamel dots from Basic Gray, a trio of 3 on the top there, and then I rounded the bottom corners. Very simple and easy to do. I wanted the focus to be on that glitter embossing paste surface that we created. Next, I wanted to show you this Verdigris embossing powder that I put on paste for these two cards. Now, you may wonder why not put Versamark over the stencil and emboss that way. Well, by putting the embossing powder on paste, it raises it up, giving you even more texture, which I just love. And look how beautiful this powder is. Now I'm using two new stencils from Memory Box. They just started making stencils, and I love it because they put the name as engraved on the top, and they're just super intricate and detailed patterns. I think these are just gorgeous. So I used both of these here. You'll see them both used. I went ahead and put white embossing powder over one of them, and now I'm putting the Ranger Verdigris embossing powder on top of it. Now when you look at it here, it doesn't look like much. It just looks like a mix of green and teal and gold powders. But when you heat set it and it starts to melt into each other, it just is beautiful. Again, I let the paste dry completely before I heat set it, but you'll see that gold starting to come up. And in real life, this is just gorgeous. This is one of those cards when you give it to people, they wonder how exactly you created this look of like an old metal. It's just gorgeous. I used this same powder on both of the cards with the two different stencils and added them to a white note card. I added a glitter cardstock strip and also embossed the greeting on the top. And you can see that variation in color and that bit of gold and blended into it, and then the texture you get by embossing on the embossing paste. It's just beautiful in real life, and I really think you should give it a try. It's a great results. Now I wanted to give you a cleaning tip. When using embossing paste, one of the big things that you want to do is clean off your stencil right away. Now I don't know about you, but I don't like to stop and run to the sink. So what I do is I take a tub of water, and after I've used embossing paste on a stencil, I dunk the dirty stencil into the water tub and just leave it there. And then when I'm done with my project, I go and clean it off. By keeping it in the water, it doesn't dry on there, and you'll be set to clean it off later. So there you have some ideas for adding embossing powder to embossing paste to use your stencils in a fun and creative way and get really great textured results. If you're interested in any of these products, they're linked below in the YouTube description, or you can head over to my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com for much more. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.